Namaste friends, welcome to Legal Solutions. You are with Advocate Bhagyashree Patil. Today we are again gonna discuss a very sensitive topic. It is a lengthy topic, so stay with me till the end of this video. But before moving ahead with our topic, kindly subscribe to my channel and press the bell icon for future notification. So today I will explain to you the Act of 2005 which was enacted for the women who were facing harassment and abuses in domestic relationship. The Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act 2005. Now let us first understand what is domestic relationship. When two individuals live together and share common domestic life, then it can be said as domestic relationship. Then it can be of a husband and wife, the relationship under the concept of live-in relationship, or even if the woman is staying at her mother's house can be said in domestic relationship with the other members of the family. The woman under such relationship has been given protection under various provisions of this act. Sometimes the complaint can also include the relatives of the male member of the family. So this woman can file application or complaint against the male member and his relatives in the domestic relationship. The woman here is termed as the aggrieved person. I will explain the concept of aggrieved person in the later part of this video. Further, let us see what type of harassment and abuses can be termed as violence under this act. Harassment such as causing hurt, injury or danger to life, limb, health, safety or well-being whether mental or physical to the woman can be termed as harassment. Causing harm, injury or danger to the woman or any person related to her to meet any demand of dowry can also be termed as harassment. Let us see what are the abuses. Physical abuse. This kind of abuse includes hurt of any kind, assault, criminal intimidation and criminal force. Then the sexual abuse. Any abuse of sexual nature such as the forced sexual intercourse, forcing the aggrieved person to watch pornography or other obscene material, forcibly using women to entertain others or other act of sexual nature, abusing, humiliating, degrading or otherwise violative of one's dignity can be termed as sexual abuse. Then comes the verbal and the emotional abuse. When any kind of abusive language is used against the victim, the aggrieved person, and so she is being harassed verbally, insulted for not bringing dowry, insulted for not having a male child, etc., forcing to not attend school, college or any other educational institution, preventing her from taking up a job, repeated threats to cause pain to any person with whom she is interested, preventing from marrying a person of her choice. Then comes the most important abuse that most of the women face, that is economic abuse. It is when the male person, that is the husband, father or father-in-law, does not provide money for maintaining her or her children, not providing food, clothes, medicine, etc., forcing that woman out of the house, preventing from accessing or using any part of the house, preventing or obstructing her from carrying on employment, non-payment of rent in case of a rented accommodation, selling her stridhan or any other valuable without informing or without her consent, forcibly taking away her salary, income or wages, etc. Then non-payment of any other bills such as electricity comes under the economic abuse. Then let us see who can file a complaint. Any woman who alleges to have been subjected to any kind of domestic violence by the offender or any person, a child is also entitled to relief under the Domestic Violence Act. The mother of such a child can make an application on behalf of her minor, whether male or female. In case where the mother makes an application to the court for herself, the children can also be added as co-applicants. Let us further discuss against whom can a complaint be filed. Any adult male member who has been in a domestic relationship with the woman, then the relatives of the husband or the male partner includes both male and female relatives of the male partner. Let us further understand some definitions under this Act. Aggrieved person. Aggrieved person means any woman who is or has been in a domestic relationship with a respondent, means the male member, and who alleges to have been subjected to any act of domestic violence by the respondent. Domestic relationship. As we have seen earlier, the relationship between two persons who live or have at any point of time lived together in a shared household when they are related by marriage or through a relationship in the nature of marriage, adoption, or are family members living together as a joint family can be called as a domestic relationship. Then what is meant by monetary relief? Monetary relief under this Act means the compensation which the court may order the respondent to pay to the aggrieved person at any stage during the hearing of an application seeking any relief under this Act to meet the expenses incurred and the losses suffered by the aggrieved person as a result of domestic violence. Then what is meant by shared household? Shared household is the house where the aggrieved person lives or at any stage of life has lived in a domestic relationship with the respondent and includes such a household whether owned or rented. Now let us see some important sections under this Act. I am not gonna explain all the sections of this Act, but the very important ones. Section 16. This section gives the aggrieved woman the right of trial in closed room, which is also said to be proceeding held in camera. If the magistrate considers that the circumstances were such as a nature that can't be disclosed or tried in the open court, and if either party to the proceedings so desires, then he may conduct the proceedings under this Act in camera. Section 17. Right to reside in a shared household. Every woman or the aggrieved person has a right to reside in the shared household which she has been sharing from long time, being in the domestic relationship with the respondent, whether or not she has any right, title, or beneficial interest in the house she has been residing. The aggrieved person shall not be evicted or excluded from the shared household or any part of it by the respondent. Section 18. Protection orders. The aggrieved woman can apply for the protection orders under this provision of the Act. The magistrate, on being satisfied that the domestic violence has taken place and the life is in danger, then he is likely to pass a protection order in favor of the aggrieved person and prohibit the respondent from committing any act of domestic violence, aiding or abetting in the commission of acts of domestic violence, entering the place of employment of the aggrieved person, or if the person aggrieved is a child, a school, or any other place, attempting to communicate in any form whatsoever with the aggrieved person, including personal, oral, or written, electronic, or telephonic contact. Alienating any assets, operating bank lockers or bank accounts used or held or enjoyed by both the parties, jointly by the aggrieved person and the respondent, or singly by the respondent, including her stridhan or any other property held either jointly by the parties or separately by them without the leave of the magistrate, causing violence to the dependents, other relatives, or any other person who give the aggrieved person assistance from domestic violence, committing any other act as specified in the protection order. Section 19. This is a very important section. Residence order. Under this section, the aggrieved person can be granted residence orders. While disposing of an application, the magistrate, being satisfied that the domestic violence has been taken place, he can pass a residence order, restraining the respondent from disposing or in any other manner disturbing the possession of the aggrieved person from the shared household, directing the respondent to remove himself from the shared household, restraining the respondent or any of his relatives from entering any portion of the shared household in which the aggrieved person resides, restraining the respondent from alienating or disposing of the share household or encumbering the same, restraining the respondent from renouncing his rights in the shared household except with the leave of the magistrate, directing the respondent to secure same level of alternative accommodation to the aggrieved person as enjoyed by her in the shared household. Section 20 gives the monetary relief to the aggrieved person to meet the expenses incurred and losses suffered for herself and any child who are the result of the domestic violence. Such relief may include the loss of earning, the medical expenses, the loss caused due to the destruction, damage, or removal of any property from the control of the aggrieved person, the maintenance for the aggrieved person as well as her children. The order under this section is excluding from the order of maintenance under section 125 of the Code of Criminal Procedure. Means, if an aggrieved person is getting maintenance under section 125 of Code of Criminal Procedure, she is also entitled to get maintenance under this section of the Act. Then section 21. Section 21 explains about the custody orders of the children. On an application made to the magistrate can grant temporary custody of any child or children to the aggrieved person or the person making an application on her behalf. If necessary, the arrangements for visit of such child or children by the respondent, provided if the magistrate is of the opinion that any visit of the respondent may be harmful to the interest of the child or children, the magistrate shall refuse to allow such visits. This is all about Protection of Women from Domestic Violence Act. Hope you have understood and liked the video. So please hit the like button and share it with your friends and family.